everyone, welcome back to more Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. Last time we left off, we started the game, now we're going to continue playing the game. I'm recording this the same day I started it because I can't stop playing. I have an addiction. The only cure is to play more Ace Attorney. I seriously love this game though, I can't stop playing it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Not just this game in general, but you know, the Ace Attorney series.
What's with that prosecutor? Can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable.
Please maintain your professionalism, detective.
I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. We've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then, what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch.
Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway.
Eh? Really, sir?
For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird was related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Begin investigation. Oh, I love this. This is so cool, man. I see something under there. Don't lie to me. I won't rest until I've suspected every blah blah blah. I see the book.
It's... isn't that the missing Zero series file, sir?
No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind.
So what are the Zero files about, sir? I guess they got something that we're stealing in them, huh? DL6 incident, calling it now.
Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine.
Huh?
They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's say I was charged with keeping them as they were.
And that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right?
It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing.
I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case.
Yeah, it's definitely DL6. Oh. Hello there, basketball. What is the basketball doing here?
That's Mr. Portman's prized possession, sure. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis.
Not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway.
Is that Winston Payne? God dang it.
What is a basketball hoop doing here?
Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago?
So when and why was it moved indoors?
I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently.
Drag it?
I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself.
All the way up to the 12th floor. I feel bad.
He looks like you're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgeworth.
To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. Who has find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly, post-haste.
Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open.
How gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again?
Oh, that's awesome. I love this game.
Is everything alright? Yes, sir! You must know I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway in this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice. Stay focused, or you may start to lose even more weight. Maggie. I was wondering if I may speak with you a bit concerning this case.
I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth.
Can't let this chance pass me by. Must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her through the present button. Let's just ask a bit first. Have you ever met the victim before?
Well, I've seen him a couple times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once, I'd have loved to play with them. It sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was just pass him the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have fit in all that well with them.
Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it that you are an acquaintance of the detective.
She was under my supervision back when she was still in the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night.
You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct?
Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building, I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of food, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I become a security guard.
That's a lot to go through in one lifetime.
I know, and just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wound up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck.
You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth, you can count on me. I'll do all I can to help.
Alright. Oh, thank God they put the present button with that. That was so annoying to have to go out of the menu to show present. Oh, that's...
I'm just a lowly security guard, so I'm not sure what I should do with that, other than to guard it.
It's like talking to another gumshoe. So when did you discover that the master key was missing?
By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 a.m. We were just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. Where? But I'm sure that between those 2 times, it was not just gone, but stolen, sir.
Okay. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place?
It's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window.
Always, you say? Except for this time, correct?
Well, I admit that was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I'd used it that I left it sitting on the ledge.
She used the master key. What did you use the master key for? What did you mean by use the master key?
Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right?
What is it?
That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. He was Mr. Portsman, sir.
What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird. Quickly.
It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir.
And that's when you loaned the master key to him?
No way! It's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir.
I see.
And then, what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up to his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think.
So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight.
Talk about suspicious.
I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portman's door. You got it, Edgeworth. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Room 1203. I take it this is Mr. Portsman's office?
Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me. Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 102 super badly. Since you're already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we've been him next door, sir.
So why is Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202?
I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. Can't think of another reason why.
I can think of at least 3. Ugh, why am I wasting time thinking about this? Because he wants it, because of the door's locked tight.
But the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
This is the office of a high prosecutor, detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them.
So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be where our culprit is.
Might I advise you to return to that conclusion at whatever pawn shop you bought it from. A minimalist yet classy door made of top quality wood.
Kind of majestic too. Fits in really well with the ambiance of the prosecutor's office. Even if Mr. Portman seems dignified just because he works behind one of these.
Nonsense, a man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works.
Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne.
Mr. Payne? Post custodial work can also be dignified.
That's not my job. Mr. Portman's personal basketball hoop.
Can't believe he put something like that in the hallway of a prosecutor's office.
But you know, it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get into your office since it's been here.
How long have I had the same office, and yet you still managed to get lost? At present, I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Dude, this phone number's on a plate alone proclaiming this to be my office.
Whoops. Hey, those number plates slide right out, sir.
I have to be able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant, you know? Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... Oh! He switched the plates! Oh. Of course. Why else would they mention that you can switch the plates? Oh, see this one, that other one said I already checked, but this one said,
top quality wood.
It's certainly made making near impossible to break in by force.
It's almost majestic, sir. Wish it could be as stately as this door.
When he comes, you would praise a door as something greater than himself. Being a detective has its own rewards and a certain virtuous value, I think. You lived up to your full potential. That's a poignant trait anyone can admire.
I see. So you're saying, sir, that me being me is the best thing I can do for everyone.
Right.
That long pause wasn't exactly reassuring, sir. Let's check this doorknob.
I don't see any signs of forced entry.
And according to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir.
I mean, that door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob?
Apparently, the doorknob's clean as a whistle. White, they think.
Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind.
Don't tell me it's this. Oh, come on!
I don't know why I didn't think of that, guys. Oh, it just... I'm sorry. That took me so much longer than it should have. Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story.
What? No way, pal. I mean, sir, I've been hanging out with Gumshoe too much.
He said you locked up Mr. Portman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time.
Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I totally forgot about all that. Thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around that very time I realized the master key was missing. And, well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir.
You pretended?
Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like it was locking up, sir.
So in actuality, you never did relock the door then?
Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. Okay, here we go.
Oh, good lord, that was annoying.
Sorry, this is my door. That's not what I wanted.
I won't rest.
Yep, see? Okay. So now, when he says that, that means I can... Oh, I see.
This spot's somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold.
Fam.
There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight?
Huh? You know, you're right.
Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door?
I'm certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means, what, sir?
It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one.
She opened a different door? But how can you prove that?
There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to examine these.
Okay, so... probably just skipped it. I hit the wrong one by accident. Well, not by accident. I hit this one, but I meant this one. Because I was thinking like this number plate switched, right? So, but it didn't occur to me.
The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything.
Hey, you. Yeah, you, pal. Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? So, what'd you find out?
No need for such belligerent nostril flaring, detective.
Sir, I found only Miss Portman's and Miss Faith's prints on this doorknob.
So only 2 people prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive.
Huh? I'm lost, sir.
Thinking logically, a certain other person's print should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose print should also be on this doorknob?
My bad. I read that wrong. I thought it... Sorry. My bad.
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent?
You mean...
Yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one.
There we go. Sorry, I keep messing up. I'm not being smart today.
What have we here?
Aha!
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Oh, come on.
What is this?
Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it.
Right. Brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. It looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. Looks like a note from the victim.
Yeah, and it's from Mr. Portsman. Oh, that's not it. Oh, I didn't even see that. It's been moved.
What's this?
What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game?
That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off.
Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk.
The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take note of this. Okay. Investigation complete. Yay, I got my health back, thank God. Poking around this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely.
Huh? How so, sir?
In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case.
You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth.
As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman.
What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it! That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspect it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir.
That is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on Truth's door. Oh, guys, I'm hype. Hi there, friend. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pre. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letter, sir. All right, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this.
What?
Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe.
End of the line for you, Portsman. We've got you now.
Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jax Portman, that you... Mr. Jax Portman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job? I can see right through the unsightly, paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor is Manfred von Karma, right? A legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. There was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me because they won't work? The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves, even though you have yet to prove anything? Alright, let's go. Mr. Portsman's rebuttal. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Oh, you are an idiot. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something. I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on, with evidence. Haha. Rebuttal. Let's do it, boys. I like this new system, honestly. It's cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot, a lot, a lot. Boom! That was easy. You are a fool. I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You use your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key. Maggie Bird, boy. You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kinda forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we?
I'm certain that it was Mr. Portman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir.
See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? Ha! And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example.
That's right. They do slide out pretty easily.
Furthermore, you then use one other thing to give a very strong impression that the door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. Oh, he moved the basketball hoop. What was it that, I know what it was, don't know.
What? The basketball hoop, sir?
It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building, which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. Ugh!
That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's.
There are signs that the hoop had been moved. To sit in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip, but I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Conjecture's rebuttal. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence in the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears.
My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just watched it yesterday.
Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one who truly covered in slime here. Okay, Lockhart is gonna be that cool. I think I know what I... Okay, I thought it was the note. I just want to make sure. Wow, this is pretty easy, not gonna lie. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How was that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, "But you're out." You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then where were you and what were you doing? Ugh! Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you. That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. Oh, here we go. I had your door dusted for prints. My door? What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her print should be naturally on the doorknob she touched. Ugh! Further, all of the prints on my office doorknob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. Detective Faith found you out, possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him! And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. And as I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office.
And just what's so funny, pal?
Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What?
Mr. Edwards has explained it all, and even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already.
And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down well. Eh? I'm a little obsessive compulsive, you see? I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched, which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. And after that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there.
You made that up just now, didn't you?
Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, you know exactly when that was. For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse.
That's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size.
But you can't prove that, can you?
Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir.
Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only realized that I had one just now as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I told you that sooner. Let's go. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 AM, correct? And it was then you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe.
Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. He probably paid them off, didn't he? Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsmouth said. Guys down in Criminal Affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m.
You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit, so there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Correct? It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Oh, come now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I need to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. Oh, correct. It was around 2 a.m. You sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. Remember checking my watch then, make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came to your office at 2. So you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit? Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I head straight for the precinct. Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right?
Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time.
See? I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face?
Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir! Please escort the young lady out. But remember, be gentle.
Maggie! Detective Gumshoe!
Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Okay. I think it was a different person entirely. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that was the one that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. I don't know. What? Oh, well, I don't need to save for this, it's obvious. There are only 2 points left, so... Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by a second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back... Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses.
Mr. Edgeworth! Sir, what are you saying?
This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief.
A thief? But, sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts?
Why are you talking so slow? God! Like, it's kind of annoying. Not at all. It seems it means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight.
What do you mean 2?
It explains both why my shelves are disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Miss Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know? If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time.
So then, this would be when the files were back in the wrong order, right?
Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith?
But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir?
He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area, but that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess.
Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out.
Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman. Mr. Faith probably let his guard down, but Mr. Portsman was not as merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he also left the fake dying message behind.
You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that?
Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated.
There was another visitor, sir?
Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remains unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room. And they entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize.
The stolen zero file, right, sir?
Correct. Only, just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter.
So the shell was getting messed up twice in the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at different times.
Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief and was not in fact Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
What's so funny, pal?
Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything.
Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all.
But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor.
Ah, Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir.
But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point.
Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must.
You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. The person you met really was just a plain old thief. Why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. That thief you're into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? You should be out there looking for that thief right now. It might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. When Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs, so I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be wasting our time on dead-end discussions. I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? Oh, I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. Just have to find a way to prove it. I don't actually know what to think of. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know the sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? There were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. He brought me 2 items, a gun and a pendant that are related to yesterday's case. Oh, of course, because he said he brought 3. There we go. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsmouth, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. It says that Mr. Faith was bringing in 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsmouth. I can't believe you get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? It's... You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe.
You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe.
Don't come any closer. I'm warning you.
This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me.
No!
Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir.
Despite what you said, it would appear you do have something to hide.
Well, why would he hide something like that?
There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber, because it was unequivocally pointed to the person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail, for the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin.
Ah, there it is. Ah, that's blood, isn't it?
Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh.
You mean, this might be Detective Faith's blood?
No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We've but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you would receive evidence from the victim earlier. Now you would tell us, when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video?
Yeah, it's totally suspicious.
Was that the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. Ugh! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. We got him. Whew. Wow, that one took me a while. That was tough. I thought I had evidence, but
Mr. Portsmouth has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir.
Very good.
And the results we got back from the lab text on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies.
Oh, it was nothing, really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. If it had been a holdup or a hostage situation, I would have thrown my hands in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person.
Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail.
You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsmouth really was one corrupt prosecutor.
And why would you say he was corrupt?
Well, I heard there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. Even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir.
Forged evidence, huh?
And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons.
Oh,
I think it was a complete disgrace to the entire profession.
We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office.
Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up.
Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something.
It's just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes.
Oh, well. With Mr. Portsmouth not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this.
Huh? Mr. Portsmouth isn't the bad guy?
I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence. The book, why it was there, right?
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night.
Yeah, I wonder who it was.
And what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint?
That'll be case 4, I'm betting. Or case 5. I don't know how many cases are in this game. I think there's only 4 from what I saw online.
Mr. Edgeworth, sir!
Yes?
Came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card.
What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there?
It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a 3-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective.
Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everybody's talking about.
Oh, is this... Wait. No. Is this Mask to Mask? No.
No, okay, I was gonna be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Never mind, what am I talking about? Sorry.
Yes, it is the mark of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Out of the marks of a legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence, and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporations infiltrate without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back.
What? Let me see.
It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files.
So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming, for they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago.
Oh, snapperdoodles. The end. Are you gonna give us posters again? I really like that, and they got rid of it in Apollo Justice, and that made me mad. Turnabout Airlines. Huh. Are we pulling and now we flash back to 2 days earlier thing, or like what's going on? Well, I can definitely say the intro of this game was a lot less longer than Apollo Justice was, because that one was just... it is, but also this emulator isn't very good. I mean, my real DS! That is definitely real. Oh, you can actually see the outline of the people there, so that has Maggie on it. Yeah, whereas Apollo Justice had a lot of information, which is why it was long. My recording is long because I messed up a lot, so it'll probably be cut down to, like, I don't know, 50 minutes maybe. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna wrap up today's episode here for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Stick around to see more of this awesome game. We're gonna be playing it till the end because I can't get enough of this game and this series in general. We'll talk about Investigations 2 when we finish this game. I have no idea. If I'm burnt out by the end of this game, then I might stop, but you never know. I'm loving this game so far. I love the new direction we're going with, and I can't wait to play more, man. I love it. I love it so much. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Peace out!